Okay, interessant.
How did you become a knight?
I paid for it. When Malashov was vacated,
Sure.
I bought that fortress. Well, first I negotiated with King Charles for permission. Then it was entered into the land register as my property, and my house became the Knights of Malashov. There were still some legal requirements surrounding it, but I won't bore you with those. But personally, I'm pleased that in the history of our house, it was me who managed to elevate it to the nobility.
You can simply buy a title. Just like that.
Definitely not
Just like
just
that.
like that. But in a certain manner of speaking, you can, yes. It's not at all such an unusual practice among rich burghers nowadays. In Prague, for example, there used to be the Rokitsan burgher family, and they bought Okorsh. That's a castle 3 times bigger than Malashov. It may also happen that some commoner lends the king a lot of money, and the king doesn't have the coin to pay back the debt. So he resolves it by pledging one of his castles. Nevertheless, the old nobility, such as Vavak von Hradec, don't like it, and they despise us for it. They see us as upstarts without a proper ancient origin. But I think in a few generations, if I ever marry Rosa off, that is, it won't make any difference anymore. We'll be established among the nobility, and all these injustices will be a thing of the past. I pray that my house will endure, and that my descendants will live to see it.
Well, enjoy your well-deserved spurs. May your house endure and prosper. What's the political situation in the city? I mean, the politics of support for our side.
All in all, miserable. Bailiff Plymel is also on Sigismund's side, as is his son, who's so corrupt even Vava could envy him. And I tested the waters among the councillors, but it doesn't look good for us at the moment.
Ich frage mich eigentlich, warum Gutenberg nicht weiter groß geworden ist oder ne, sich weiterentwickelt hat in dem Sinne. Weil zu der Zeit war es ja die zweitmächtigste, größte, einwohnerreichste Stadt in Böhmen, beziehungsweise in Tschechien gewesen, nach Prag. Liegt es vielleicht einfach nur daran,
Who sits on the
dass
city
vielleicht die
council?
Silberminen ausgegangen sind, oder?
Forsooker, Jerome Naz, Franz Rosenthal, and Andrew Polner. They're from the old and rich burgher families, just like us. Martin tried to negotiate some support from them, but as you may have heard, we didn't manage to win anyone over. They either have their interests connected with Sigismund, like Naz and the others, or they just don't want to commit themselves, so they don't lose their property and status. That's the only thing you can count on them for.
But they don't sit alone on the council. What about the others?
They don't. Then there are the representatives of the guilds, but to be honest, they don't have that much power, at least not for now. Compared to the old houses, the guild masters only quite recently acquired their positions on the council, so they probably won't risk losing them. But you're right that we might find support among them, especially by promising more council seats. The thing is, we're not yet in a position to fulfill such a promise, and they're well aware of that.
And what about Vavak? He
Baba.
sits on the council, and we've got him in our pocket, right?
He does, along with other representatives of the Italian court, and they'll do what he tells them. Except maybe Friedrich Kummel, but that doesn't matter. Vavak is a slimy bastard who'll sink us as soon as he gets the chance. So I'd like to count on him only when absolutely necessary, because as soon as he learns something he could exchange for a pardon from Sigismund for the crimes you've uncovered, he'll use it to untie his hands.
Thank you for filling me in on the local situation.
Well, there wasn't much positive in it. But you're welcome.
And what about the church? Couldn't it be turned around? You can see Sedlet's monastery from the city. The abbot must have some influence, doesn't he?
He does. And his relationship with the city is not the best. First of all, the abbot is burning through his property. The monastery's having financial difficulties, and all it can do is sell off its village properties. And who do you think is buying them up? The Kuttenberg burghers, first and foremost. Then there's a long-standing dispute over the manning of some churches.
Ja, aber warum ist jetzt... Aber jetzt, der erste Grund alleine ist doch jetzt kein Grund, irgendwie ein schlechtes Verhältnis zu der Stadt Kuttenberg zu haben. Das ist ja das Problem der Kirche, beziehungsweise des Abts, wenn er das nicht vernünftig verwalten kann und kein Geld reinkommt und dass sie es dann halt an die Bewohner verkaufen müssen, die Dörfer.
It goes back as far as I can remember.
Well, then how about promising the abbot support and getting him on our side? Promises cost nothing, right?
Ha! I see you're no newcomer to politics. But we hesitated with the abbot, and he decided to throw in his lot with Sigismund. In fact, he's given him accommodation, and is wining and dining him.
You're right, Sir Kinsman. It's a pity.
It is. I even wanted to donate them part of my library collection, which they've envied for years, but they can forget about that now.
I'm glad we took care of Vavat without resorting to weapons. They outnumbered us, and they had heavy armor. I'm not really sure we could have held out against them.
True.
If the worst
Could
came
be.
to the worst, we'd have had to try. We couldn't have backed out. There was too much at stake. But otherwise, I agree with you. We saved the lives of my soldiers, and maybe even our own. Thank goodness for that. After all, I've already fought my hardest battle, and don't need any more like that.
If I may be so bold, can I ask what the hardest battle you mentioned was?
Not long ago, when Sigismund's army besieged Kuttenberg. Back then, I saw things differently than I do today. I'd been advocating parleying instead of armed resistance. I feared, and rightly so, that Sigismund would use it as an excuse to seize property. But I was in the minority, and even my son Venser was convinced of the opposite. We quarreled a lot over that. In the end, he told me that even though I had acquired noble status, my days of glory had faded. He wanted to prove the Knights of Malashov didn't wear spurs just for show, and that we'd earned the armored arm in our crest. When an opportunity arose to strike against the enemy, he rode out, despite me forbidding it. Or maybe because of it.
I understand where this is going. I'll pray for your son's soul, and I won't reopen your wounds anymore.
Thank you. God be with you.
Ja, er hat sie ihre Armbrust.
Your father sent me.
So I can tell you how to get to our fortress. A task for the lowest lackey, wouldn't you say? Well, you don't need to answer that.
Right, yeah. That's exactly why he sent me. But how...
What are you staring at? Do you think I was born yesterday? I was listening to you from the top of the stairs. So, this passage, it leads to the cellars, but the outside entrance is hidden underground in a forest, not far from the castle. You can find the exact place if you know where and how to look.
Is it in a cave hidden behind a waterfall?
Well, no. But it would be nice. Listen, nearby Malashov is a stud
Schön,
farm
dass sie das
managed by
Klischee
Hashta,
aufräumen.
an old friend of
Oder
Papa. We had a wayside shrine set
ja,
up at the
erwähnen.
crossroads before the stud farm.
Sure. I won't miss it.
Wait, though. We haven't got to the hard part yet. From the shrine, you should be able to see a group of boulders. Beyond them are the remains of an old chapel. You'll have to find it, and then there's a kind of How can I describe it? A window. A gap you can look through.
If it's still standing.
I hope so too. Anyway, it should direct you towards some ruins. Go there. And now pay attention. Somewhere in those ruins is a stone cross. You have to find it and look where its top points to. If you go the way the cross is pointing, you'll find another one, and again follow the direction it's pointing in. That should lead you to a small clearing, marked by a cross in the rocks. You dig there, and you should get to the passageway.
That's a really cunning solution. No random fool would ever find it.
That was exactly my intention when I thought it up. Thanks, Henry. I think you're no fool, so you shouldn't have any trouble. And that's not all. Getting into the castle is the easy part. Don't forget, you have to get out too.
You're right. Horses will be needed. For me and for Capon.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Fortunately, I know how to arrange that. Stop off at the stud farm I told you about, and ask Hashtal for horses.
Where's the cash?
No catch. On the contrary, please tell Hashtal that Papa is still paying for masses for his dead father, as agreed years ago. And even if he's not too keen, tell him we'll pay him for the horses.
You got it well figured out. Thanks. Don't know how I'd manage without you.
You've done plenty to help, and now it's our turn. Papa said something like that, didn't he? You know, you might not be aware of it, but you saved us from a mountain of trouble. Papa would never admit it.
Papa.
But alone, we wouldn't be able to resist the Mint Master for long. You've earned the right to the gratitude and friendship of our house for all time.
Komm mit?
Would you like to come with me? At least I'll be sure to find that place.
Would you seriously want me there? What if something were to go wrong? Wouldn't a girl like me be more of a burden to you?
Well, you wouldn't be a burden to me. Quite the opposite. I've already seen you know how to take care of yourself.
Thank you. But I can't go nevertheless. Papa would jump out of his skin if he even heard of such a thing. That's why I would like to ask you for one favor, but you mustn't breathe a word of it to anyone. Understand?
I'm listening.
I wanted to ask you, since you're going to be at Malashov, if you could bring me something from there.
And what might that be?
A book. It has great value to me, and I was starting to worry it would stay there forever. But if you're going there now...
And what book is this that's so important?
It's hard to explain to someone uninitiated in the mysteries of writing.
What do you mean, uninitiated? I happen to know how to read.
Really? Mea culpa. You are full of surprises. So if you do find the book, you'll be able to read it.
Well, yeah. That's the way it goes with books.
In that case, I'm not going to make it easy for you. If you'd like to know why it's so important to me, you'll have to find it first.
Wahrscheinlich ihr Tagebuch?
Fear not, my lady. I'll gladly tear the entire fortress apart to find that book for you.
Restraint, valiant knight. I value your determination, but this way would give yourself away immediately, and I'd remain without my book. Find it nice and quietly, then come back.
Your wish is my command.
It shouldn't be hard. The book is bound in scarlet leather and inlaid with gold. You won't find many like such there. And take this, so you don't get lost in the fortress.
Thank you.
It is quite possible you won't get back to Malashov again. So don't forget about me. And Henry, be careful.
Okay. Bücher und Bibliotheken. Mhm. Ba, 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 ba. Du, 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 du. Ich komme jetzt rein. Achso, das ist der Pferdestall. Achso, es ist der Mantel.
You, stop! What's going on? Do tell.
All right, all right. Let's talk it over. Who do we have here now? You look familiar. Aren't you with the Yablonets gang? You've wandered a long way from your patch, fella. This is our turf.
I don't belong to any gang.
No? Well, in that case, now I remember where I saw you. I saw you fighting in the town. Henry. Henry of, it is you.
Really? You go to tournaments?
Indeed I do. Best tournament butchery ever. You pile them up into a green heap like writhing snakes.
Eh?
Oh, aye. You're a tough fella.
Thanks. I'd love to have an ale with you sometime. You seem like a fine bunch. But I really have to get going. I need to sort something out.
Course you do. And show up at another tournament sometime. It's not the same without your fancy stuff.
All right? I'll go and give them all another drubbing.
Ha ha! Can't wait. We wolves will always be rooting for you. See you, champ. A fine fellow indeed.
Ich hab Fans! Cool.
Heal!
Gucken, ist hier vielleicht irgendwo ein Schlafplatz? Mein Henry-Trank ist weg. Damn. Damn. Das für ein Pferd, ey. Hier wird doch sicher irgendwo ein Bett frei sein, oder?
Get out of here!
Greetings. What brings you here so early in the morning?
What's new here at Malashov?
Nothing much. If you're looking for a job, try...
The Ruthard sent me.
What's that to do with me? Those days when Ruthard was the Lord of Malashov are over. I don't want to have anything more to do with him, so you can be on your way.
He sends you his regards. And he asked me to remind you that he's still paying for masses for your family, as the two of you agreed.
Sakura. Nobody knows about that but him.
That's why he told me. So you'd be sure I really did come from them, and this isn't a trick.
Well, that changes things. Sorry for being a bit hostile-like, but times are tough. A man can't be sure of anything. Good to hear that Sir Quinlan still has a few friends left. Give him my greetings, and thank him for still honoring our agreement.
Sure. I'll pass that on to him.
So, tell me, what did the Ruthard send you for?
I'm planning a certain enterprise. Something that the new lord of the castle certainly won't be happy about.
An enterprise, you say? I reckon it's best not to ask what that might be, eh?
Yep.
That would be wise. And I need you to get fresh, fast horses ready for me.
That's quite a lot you're asking of me. A fresh, fast horse don't come cheap. But fine, since you're from Sir Quinlan, I'll have it ready for you. Somewhere a bit further from here so I don't get in the shit if things go sideways.
Of course. The last thing I want is to endanger you unnecessarily. And the Ruthards promise to pay for the horse if it comes to any harm.
All right. So look, here next to the stud farm, there's a kind of band of rocks below the forest. When you go alongside the rocks to the end, you'll find a wooded copse not far from the castle. There's a well-trodden patch of ground there, so that's where I'll have that horse ready for you. Hopefully, nothing will happen to him if I just leave him there. Recently, there's been wolves and wild dogs sniffing around here, so we have to watch out for the animals.
Thanks. I'm obliged to you.
You ought to be. I wish you the best of luck. I reckon you'll need it.
Nice.
A strange and fucked up war.
Okay. Where to go? Und okay, haben wir ausgerüstet. So, und wie ging es jetzt weiter? Was war das? Dass ein Geheimgang nach Maleschau führt. Ich muss den Eingang finden und mir einen Weg in die Festung graben, damit ich sie unbeobachtet betreten kann. Der Weg ist jedoch gut versteckt. Rosa meinte, ich soll an der Kreuzung in der Nähe von Hatschads Gestühl anfangen. Dort finde ich einen weißen Wegschrein. Von dort aus sollte ich eine Ansammlung von Steinen am Straßenrand sehen. Und dahinter ist eine alte Kapelle. Okay, Ansammlung von Steinen. What? Ah.
This must be the chapel Rosa was talking about. I was supposed to look through its arch for some old ruins. Well, let's see.
Jo.
The chapel directed me here. There's no doubt about that. So somewhere around here, I have to find a stone cross, and then go in the direction the top is pointing.
Sorry, warte, ich habe jetzt nicht mehr zugehört. Was soll ich machen? Ein Steinkreuz ausschalten. Sobald ich das gefunden habe, muss ich in die Richtung folgen. Achso, das Steinkreuz. You mean das? Es? Weil jetzt muss ich durch ihren Bogen schauen. Die Ruinen finden, von denen Rosa gesprochen hat. Dort angekommen, muss ich nach einem Steinkreuz Ausschau halten. Sobald ich das gefunden habe, muss ich der Richtung folgen, die mir die Kreuzspitze vorgibt. Ich sollte ein weites Kreuz finden und wieder der Richtung folgen, die dessen Spitze vorgibt. Okay, also jetzt geradeaus. Huh? Aber das bringt uns doch wieder bloß dort zurück, von wo wir kommen. Das macht ja gerade absolut keinen Sinn. Warum ist hier eine Schaufel? Weil die Spitze ist ja so. Oder soll ich so lang? Jetzt bin ich ja raus aus dem Gebiet. Huh? Verstehe ich irgendwas falsch? »65«. Ja. Ich muss ja irgendwas falsch verstehen. Oder ich habe einfach das Kreuz übersehen.
What have you found, boy?
A cross in stone. This could be the place Rosa mentioned. I'll grab the spade and see if I'm in the right place.
Aye, aye, you silly
Purer
doggy.
Zufall, dass ich das jetzt hier gefunden habe.
A tough job, but it was worth it. The way to Malashov is clear.
So, bevor wir da jetzt reingehen, muss ich jetzt noch mal auf den Pferdehof und mich sauber machen. Haben die hier Trockengestell?
Greetings.
Moin moin.
Let's go. This'll be quick. didn't see you there, just as well